everybody. This was not supposed to be the next video on my channel, but 2020 it just keeps throwing punches and I keep having to avert them, and that was a weird analogy. Anyways, okay, let's back up. First of all, before I get into what's been going on in my neck of the woods, I want to put a huge thank you out there to everybody who commented on my last video. I don't know what I was expecting from posting that video, but you exceeded my expectations. I felt so loved and supported. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're welcome to go watch that video. I will have it linked down below, but I recently suffered a miscarriage, and it's a heartbreaking thing, a traumatic thing that's not talked about as much as I think it should be talked about. So I wanted to shed some light on it, share my experience, and now I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who shared their own stories, who offered their own support and kind words and love and all of that. It did take me the full 2 weeks that they say it does to physically recover, while I had all of the hormones still circulating in my body and, you know, my insides were recovering from everything. It has now been 2 weeks. Last week, I was expecting to get back to filming. I have an empties video that I want to film. I need to update my Project Pan videos. I now want to film a bit of a declutter and a makeup inventory. That was supposed to start happening last week. I am filming this on a Tuesday, and exactly a week ago, we were evacuated from our home because of the wildfires in Southern Oregon. When I tell you I was not expecting to have experienced two of the most traumatic events of my life less than 2 weeks apart, for anybody who has ever been evacuated from their home during a wildfire, I am so sorry you've ever had to deal with that. We had wildfires surrounding us. And not only that, but we were experiencing Southern Oregon, I mean, maybe more than just Southern Oregon, but here in Southern Oregon, we were experiencing the worst windstorm in 100 years is what they called it. And so when these fires started, they were just pushed quickly, swiftly, and they caused so much destruction. Entire communities were destroyed. So many people have lost their homes. It's been exactly a week. As of this morning, the fire has been announced as 100% contained. There are still several fires going on, not quite in this neck of the woods, but very close by, all over California and Oregon. It's really horrible. So we're finally 100% contained. There is a risk of lightning in our near future, so hopefully that will not be an issue. But let's backtrack to last Tuesday. A fire was set off a few towns away from us, and it just ripped through a bunch of mobile home parks and communities. It ripped through Alex's hometown and his parents were evacuated, and then it ripped through my hometown, which is one town over, and it demolished a ton of communities there. My dad and that family were evacuated. They are still actually, I don't think, in their house. Those two towns recently got power and water back. My brother, until today, was evacuated from his home, and he lives not even that far away from me. We were fortunately only evacuated for 2 nights, but on Tuesday, where I sit in my house in my temporary workstation since I'm working from home, I could see this just dark, ominous, giant cloud of black smoke. I don't want to say in the distance, but like there, like it was right there. And I hadn't heard anything. Most of my county was put on a level 1 evacuation notice, and I was starting to get a little concerned. Alex wasn't home yet. There was a possibility that he was gonna have to work that night, but because it had traveled 3 towns at this point in, I think that it started at 11:30 and this was now like 3 o'clock, that I was starting to get pretty concerned and seeing this big cloud right there. I was starting to panic a little bit and thinking about, you know, maybe I should start packing some things just in case we have to evacuate. But I mean, what are the odds that it's gonna come this direction? But like the winds were so bad and they were blowing kind of in this direction. So it was a lot. So Alex ended up getting home around like 4:15, and I started getting, like, I was pretty panicked at this time, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna start packing some stuff. I'm gonna start packing some clothes. I'm gonna start packing, you know, bringing out all of our like memorabilia, sentimental items that we would want to bring with us. So most things we had already started packing. In fact, I packed up my makeup. I brought way too much, to be absolutely honest, but I'll tell you why in a moment. We had all of our bags ready. At this point, I was pretty convinced that we were evacuating. And then shortly after I had convinced myself that we were evacuating, a police car with this giant megaphone started coming around to the neighborhoods. We thought that they said we were at a level 3. We ended up being at a level 2. Eventually we got moved to a level 3 evacuation, which is go now, get out. Level 2 is be ready, evacuate right now if you can, is what here in my area. I don't know if it's the same everywhere. And because of just how crappy this summer has been and the state of mind I was in, when I tell you I was convinced that we were about to lose everything that we didn't bring with us, I was like sure that this was it. I'm gonna lose my home. Whatever I bring with me is what I'm going to have to work off of to build a future. We did get the cats, in case anybody is concerned about that. They were our #1 priority. They did not like being in my mother's camper for 2 nights. They were very, very happy to come home. So yeah, I thought this is it. We were gonna no longer have a home. We were gonna have to figure it out. I cried a lot Tuesday night. Even Wednesday morning. We thought we had confirmation that the structure right next to my brother's apartment complex had burned to the ground, which meant that his apartment complex had probably burned to the ground. I was like 95% sure that my brother's apartment was gone. It's not. We did receive confirmation Wednesday morning that my brother's apartment was okay. We also thought for sure that Alex's parents' house was gone. They ended up staying in their house until about 11 p.m. Tuesday. They were taking like shifts watching the flames, and they got too close for comfort and they went and drove away and then came back the next morning. Their house was fine. My dad, same thing. One of the houses that I grew up in completely burned to the ground, and it's very close to my dad's house, so we were very worried that my dad had lost his home. He didn't. I feel really lucky that only 1 home was lost from my immediate family or friends, and the 1 home that was lost is my grandparents on my stepdad's side, and they were actually already moved out of that house for the most part and living just down the street at their daughter's house, which did not burn down to the ground, but their house that they had just been in the process of moving out of did, like completely gone. These neighborhoods that got just demolished by these fires are just so flattened. Most of Alex's hometown, like, I don't want to say most of it, but I would say like 50% of it, like the buildings and stuff like that, flattened to the ground. My 2 favorite crystal shops, which are in between towns, right where about the fire started, completely flattened. My favorite donut shop, I went to high school with the owner's daughter, completely gone. I've spent a lot of time very upset and crying. I'm a very positive person. I don't like to dwell in negativity and anything like that. I don't like to not be okay. So I try my best to look at the bright side, at silver linings, anything like that. It's been really, really hard, as you can probably imagine. Alex has a couple people who he works with who have lost their homes, so we're looking at ways that we can help them. My organization has, I think, over 6,000 employees, so we've got lots of people who've lost their home, and there's a lot of donations and stuff going on there. I'll put some links down below if you want to look at how you can help. I didn't think that something could get worse after my miscarriage, but I was sorely mistaken. I feel very lucky to have a home and that my immediate friends and family have homes, because so many people don't right now. It's devastating. We got to go home, I think it was Thursday. We stayed the night at my mom's Tuesday night and Wednesday night. We got to come home Thursday, but we were still in a level 2 evacuation until Sunday, even though the fires near us were put out. I'm not really sure why we were in a level 2 still, but we were. And it wasn't until I think Saturday morning when I finally started to feel at ease. The first night that we stayed at our house, which was Thursday night, I was up every couple of hours looking outside, making sure there were no fires, checking the Facebook page to make sure that there was no alerts that a new fire had popped up near me. I was just on edge so hard. And even now, I think that there's a new car near us that has beeping every time it backs up, like, you know, one of those service cars or something like that. And every time I hear it, my immediate thought is fire alarm. Oh my God, there's a fire alarm going off. What do I need to do? We still have our go bags packed. We did recently, as of this morning, actually, I think I said this already, got dropped to a level 1. So I think it's safe to unpack our go bags. We've been kind of just living off of secondhand stuff, like our not favorite clothing and things like that. But it'll be nice to unpack and finally fully, hopefully, feel at ease. So that's what's been going on. I really want to get back into the makeups. I feel like I need this. I have just kind of been surviving the last few weeks, well, even more than few weeks, because before the miscarriage, I physically felt horrible and couldn't do anything, barely could function. It's been a lot, and I feel like I really want something that takes my mind off of those things in my life. So that's what's been going on. I am gonna go through my makeup collection, the things that I left behind and deemed not essential, even though, oh my God, all of this was probably not essential. This is all full of makeup, which is honestly outrageous. But everything that I left behind, there was some stuff in here that I would have taken with me, but I ran out of room, obviously. But there's probably some stuff that I left behind that I could pass along to somebody else. So I think I'm gonna do a quick declutter. Look out for that on my channel. But I wanted to give you all an update because I was expecting to be back sooner than this, and this was a huge deal in case anybody has worried about me or Southern Oregon or anything like that in general. We are okay. A lot of people aren't. Again, I will have some links down below if you'd like to look at ways that you can donate and help people who have lost absolutely everything. There are a lot of people in Southern Oregon who need help. So thank you so much for being here and listening to me again for the second update in a row of just crappy things that are going on in my life. Hopefully, for goodness sakes, this will be the last one. I swear there's only so much a person can handle. I feel like I'm doing pretty good right now, but you just never know when a mental break can happen. All right, the next video on my channel will be a makeup related one, so look out for that. I hope that you're well. I hope you're staying safe. If you're anywhere where the smoke is as hazardous as it is here, I hope that you are staying protected, staying inside as much as possible. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.